And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week. Another edition of ESL Open Cup Americas number 234. I'm, of course, host ZvP, and with me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by, not quite my plushies. Hold on. do I have to fix that? Bam! There we go. Have my plushies ready for this as we're jumping into our first series of the night. Exclamation mark B in the chat, and you will get a link to the Wikipedia page to the ESL official bracket as well. So you can have a gander of all the players that are competing here tonight. Again, such a wide array of players from the Americas, from Europe, from South Korea as well. They're all coming together here in ESL Americas as they do every single week. It's going to be an amazing morning of StarCraft. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our American Protoss player, the Teal Protoss, representing Clan TGCF. It is ProbeScout. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Zerg player going for a pool first, as we have a cannon rush opposing him. Oh my god. The American Zerg, the blue Zerg, representing Match Arena Esports. It is a StarKiller. Let us go. You do love to see it here. ProbeScout, he is renowned by many as being the Protoss player that did cannon rush Zest out of an ESL Americas many years ago at this point. I can't believe it's been so long, but it does feel like yesterday where ProbeScout did cannon rush the hell out of Zest, knocked him out of a tournament, and knocked him into retirement even. Kappa. But yeah, ProbeScout is a renowned cannon rusher from the Americas. Meanwhile, StarKiller is also a very aggressive player in his own right. I'm sure StarKiller is familiar with ProbeScout, at least historically. StarKiller and ProbeScout have been inactive for quite some time. StarKiller was an active pro, but now has since stepped away from the game. Great to see him stepping back in, though. The Overlord will confirm the cannon, will confirm the pylon, will confirm the positioning. But alas, StarKiller already went for a pool first. He went pool into double gas, working towards link speed, working towards roaches. StarKiller is already setting up for his own one-base play, which means this cannon rush isn't anywhere near as threatening as it otherwise would be, as StarKiller does bleed out a Ling, but alas should be throwing down a roach warren. I say that Lair is on the way. We have options. We have options with the Lair. We could go for a Ling Queen Nidus all-in, bearing in mind that we are researching Ling speed, but we do have extra gases here, so we're going to have an excess of gas. We should have seen a roach warren by now. Roach Warren should have been thrown down by now, so I'm leaning more along the lines of a Nidus all-in instead. Overlord is getting across the map. Overlord is getting in position to get vision into the main base, and ProbeScout is unaware. ProbeScout right now is focusing on walling up, cannons across the map, very little to defend back at home. Likewise, ProbeScout also looking for potential ninja bases, just making sure there's nothing too crazy going on. But again, this Overlord is going to do so well for StarKiller. Spine Crawler on the way just to make sure that we're safe and sound up in the main. And with the completion of this layer, we should be seeing that Nidus. As the Overlord, again, just going to be skirting around the edge. Layer about to finish. The other option, I guess, with the excess gas. Okay, so it is going to be Nidus, but that is Swarm Host play. I imagine Swarm Host Nidus Swarm out of StarKiller. Interesting choice. Very interesting. Meanwhile, the Stalker does go in for a scout, and we get a full scout of the main. We get eyes on the Lair, but not much else. Again, the last thing we would expect is an infestation pit. Stalker is going to be shut down. Meanwhile, Overlord getting in position for that Nidus. So it's not going to be a Nidus into the main. It's going to be a Nidus outside the main base instead. Probe is checking for Nidus worms. But I love this. This is a really unique decision. But to go for the Swarm Host, to go for the Nidus worm, does mean that the Nidus worm is going to be outside the main, not inside. It's going to be that much more difficult to scout. It's going to be that much more difficult here. As we are setting up, there we go, we have our Swarm Host on the way. Now, the Nidus Swarm outside, okay, we do see ProbeScout, he's looking. he's scouring the map, looking for what could be going on, potentially looking for the goal base as well. But the Locust Wave, it's going to have a hard time threatening the base itself. It can threaten the tech structure here at least. Forge and Cybercore, we're not going for the Nidus Swarm. Okay, so we're using the Swarm Host to break out. We're not using the Swarm Host across the map. It's going to be used to break through this defensive line, but we have a line of cannons. I don't know if the Swarm Host can really do too much. Oh, the Locust Wave can really do too much. Yeah, we clean up every single Locust, and now the jig is up. Now ProbeScout is fully aware of what's going on up until this point. Okay, so the infestation bit. He did see the infestation. Now we get the Nidus Worm. ProbeScout is fully aware so far. The Locust Wave hasn't been able to accomplish too much and shouldn't be able to. You can see here that no shield damage was done either here to ProbeScout, and we're going for a ninja base. We're going for the gold. This means that even if the main base gets shut down, we can always recall. We can recall to the safety of the gold base. Double proxy, proxy starports are on the way here for ProbeScout as well, towards the bottom left-hand corner of the map. +1 air attack. Local save is getting higher and higher, though. We're now collapsing on top of the cannons. And this time we should be able to shut them down. We're going for the pylon. The Artosis pylon goes down. The Prism can repower everything, but not a bad pickup. Not a bad pickup here. Oof. As we depower the cannons. More Swarm Hosts on the way. Minimal Lings. Going for another Locust Wave. Yeah, laying siege upon the cannons. Backup pylon is a ways away. The probe was not quite in position. Nice juggling. Appreciate the juggling there at the Probe Scouts, but we're about to have another Locust Wave available. A little bit premature. It's gonna be jumping in. There we go. Locust Wave now collapses. Does focus on the cannons, denies the pylon, and we will break out. But the scary thing here is not just the ninja base, but the sky toss. We're going for the mass void ray, and with these void rays, very little shoots up. We have 3 queens. I mean, the queen count, sorry, 4 queens. We have the queen count is good. Defensively, the queens are okay. The problem is, even with this Nidus Worm, the void ray should be able to reign supreme as long as they're in position. There we go, Nidus into the main. Probe Scout, no reaction, delayed reaction. Nidus Worm is going to finish. Void Rays actually going across the map instead. I'm not too fond of this because of the queen count, right? Because of the amount of queens that we have, these Void Rays shouldn't get too much done. And there we go. We get Lings and the Swarm Host into the main base. Main base is going to be forfeit. Can we deny +1? I mean, +1 is scattered. It is confirmed. We get into the middle line. At the same time, yeah, the queens, they hold the line. We depowered the cyber core. +1. We're 0.3 seconds away. It was so close. It does not finish. We don't recall the workers. 17 probes go down, and now ProbeScout is down to 1 base, but it is the gold. It is the gold. If we can get another Nidus Swarm across the map, if we can get the Swarm Host onto this gold base, it's going to be game. I mean, we have very little to work with. Sure, we have Void Rays and a head-on fight. I want to favor ProbeScout. He's looking for Overlords. He's looking for vision. StarKiller comes in with the Lings, and he will confirm. There we go. He does get eyes on the gold, on the proxy. Nidus is on the way. Void Rays rotate over, and they will catch a Nidus Worm. It's so important right now for ProbeScout to catch and shut down these Nidus Worms. And he will be able to. Nidus Worm does fall. Backup Nidus on the way. It is going to be spotted immediately and will be shut down. So again, very well done here by ProbeScout. Nidus, I mean, it's going to finish up, but it's at half HP. It's not going to be worth investing into, and yeah, we don't unload. Another backup Nidus is spotted. And at ProbeScout, he's just shutting it all down, forcing his opponent to expand. There we go, natural base now on the way, +1 melee. Lings are amassing. Nidus into the center of the map. A bit of a desperation move. It's quite far out. But remember, the win condition here is to get on top of the base. Meanwhile, the Void Ray count, how many are we working with? 4, soon to be 6. 6 Void Rays. That's, I mean, it's getting quite high. And once we hit critical mass of Void Ray, then the queens will not be enough. How many queens do we have? 6 queens so far. The queens are waddling out. Ooh, okay, we're leaving the bases vulnerable. But the queens are committing. Swarm Host waddling in. The first Swarm Host is going to go down. We get 1 Swarm Host, we get 2 Swarm Hosts. Where's the Locust Wave? We can't spend too much time here. Okay, we get on top of the base itself. We go for the Locust Wave. And what are we going to be able to focus down here? The DPS is a little bit spread out. We do get the cannon. Oh, the move command. Yeah, rough move command, but it looks like, okay, the base will fall. We get the Nexus. We get a handful of probes. And can we get the Stargate? We cannot. Oh, a lot of Swarm Hosts went down in that assault. Lings, they shut down the Stargate again. These queens, yeah, I don't know why we brought them. Like, we need to get the hell out of here. ProbeScout going for a backup base. Void Rays are moving out, so they punish these Swarm Hosts very hard. Oof, we lost almost every single one. The base is denied. And I have to give the edge to the Void Rays. Now the Queens do come back. The Queens have returned, but the Void Rays, they're breaking through into the main. Where are the Queens? There we go. Queens have popped. We need some clutch transfuse. Transfuse is going to be going off, pulling back to the safety of the Spores. The Void Rays, they activate the Prismatic Alignment, and I think the Void Rays, can they reign supreme? It's going to be close. The Void Rays are getting so low. The Spore in the back line, and we barely defend. We shut down the Void Rays. The Queens, they hold the line. GG gets called, and StarKiller takes game number 1. GG. Again, if those Queens were any later racing back home, then it would have been disastrous. But alas, thankfully they did make it. We lost a lot of Swarm hosts in the process, but hey, we did have enough to defend. We shut down the base. Congratulations. Congratulations to StarKiller for taking the first game, but that was a chaotic. That was a wild game. It was crazy. It was beautiful. You know what it was? NA. Welcome everyone to ESL Open Cup Americas, baby. Emphasis on the Americas as we are here covering some NA on NA action. It gets crazy, it gets wild, it gets rowdy. It gets crazy. That's what we like. We like it rowdy, pal. Oh, let's go. Let us go. I'm more than happy to embrace the chaos, and we're here to do so. Catching up in the chat. I'm catching up in the chat. He cannon rushed me to death, but he's so nice. Who cannon rushed you? ProbeScout? ProbeScout, he's a GM player. Oh my god. What's he doing on the Australian server? Aerodynamic. True. But we are going to be settling in. We are going to be settling into our game. Settling into game 2. And so far, it looks like it's going to be on Gosha. Now, I imagine another cannon rush. For those who are maybe unaware, ProbeScout does one thing and one thing only. That is cannon rush. Like, that's his MO. That's all he does and all he ever will. I'm hoping to be the case at least. He's a bit of an animal. He's like the NA Gref, right? Like Gref, he also is from Europe. He's from Ukraine. He does nothing but cannon rush. ProbeScout is very similar. There's a couple players like that. Who's the other one? Bonan, I think. Bonan is another one. In the European region where they do nothing but cannon rush. And they're damn good at Turkey Dano. That's another one. Turkey Dano, the Brazilian Protoss player, also just pure cannons, pure chaos. Is what they embrace. Now, StarKiller is also a very cheesy, very aggressive player. StarKiller, he's very aggressive. And, I mean, we saw that, right? StarKiller, without even scouting, he blindly went pool first into double gas. Like, he was already going for a pool first double gas build, even before seeing what ProbeScout was doing in that first game. So, again, StarKiller is also hyper aggressive and hyper cheesy. So, that's why I love when these two animals collide, you know. When they collide, it makes for something beautiful, and that's what we're here for. We're here for the beauty of ProbeScout versus StarKiller. Let's go. But yeah, it was a really cool response to go for the Swarm host the way that he did. Not necessarily the most direct approach to go for like a Nidus into the main or something like that. And again, we saw that ProbeScout, he was looking for the Nidus into the main. He was scouring the map for something crazy like that, and was making sure to shut that sort of thing down. We saw that it wasn't the Nidus Swarm initially. First, it was the Swarm host to break out of the contain and to shut down the proxy. So yeah, there was a lot of layers there. A lot of layers to what was going on. Got him a few times on the ladder. Este ProbeScout. Hi. Yeah, from here we are going to be settling in, and we'll see where he takes us. As it looks like we were just waiting for our players, but we have our Zerg player now joining the lobby, and we're getting ready for game 2. Getting ready to jump on in. hear the beeps, we're loading into that second game. Loading into Ghost River. And what are we going to be embracing here? Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ghost River, we have our American Protoss player, the Teal Protoss representing Clan TGCF. It is ProbeScout. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the American Zerg player going for the 12 pool, the Red Zerg representing Matcherino Esports. It is StarKiller. The chaos is upon us once again. Probe is moving out across the map. A pylon has been set, and I'm waiting for the forge. Likewise, we'll see how we respond this time. Bearing in mind that because we're on Ghost River, the rush distance by ground is very short. There's the forge on the way, as to be expected from ProbeScout. Is going for the cannon rush, and back at home, StarKiller is setting up with his 12 pool. Link should be on the horizon. I'm curious where we set up though, and there it is. ProbeScout going for the pylon into the natural. Boys are being pulled already. Again, we haven't even seen the cannon rush, but StarKiller clearly knows who he is. I mean, ProbeScout has a big reputation amongst the pro players for cannon rushing. He's notorious for doing so, so everyone is aware. The boys are here. Cannon is on the way. We did wall off. We're going for the pylon, but alas, I'm not too sure if it's going to be enough here. Yeah, extra boys being pulled, but they feel a little bit late. We get some decent service area on the pylon. Decent service area. Lings are on the way. Again, because of the 12 pool, they have arrived in time. It's going to be close. Oh, it's going to be so close here. The cannon does finish. The pylons are getting low. And this is, the cannon is going to be able to get quite a bit of damage dealt on this. Drones are being targeted. We do get, retargeting. We do get 2 drone kills so far, but the cannon will fall. It looks like we will clean this up. Did cost us some workers, but we defend. That's what matters here. We do defend. 4 drones go down, and the proxy is not going to get up and running. We're going to be able to focus down at both the pylons before anything gets built. Expansion's on the way. StarKiller has held. Whew. StarKiller has held. I was a little bit concerned that the cannon would finish and would punish, but it did finish and did punish, but not too much. Again, only 4 drone kills. Because of the 12 pool response, the Lings, they did arrive in time. And down goes the pylon, down goes the gateway, down goes everything here for ProbeScout. And across the map, we do have our Cybercore back at home, but there's nothing. There's no cannon, there's no gateway. We're going for a massive counterattack. ProbeScout trying to set up a second proxy location, but alas, it's going to be too little too late at this point. Again, StarKiller looking to punish ProbeScout quite hard. And it's really cool to see that despite the fact that StarKiller has been inactive for many years, like StarKiller hasn't been competing for a long time, is still familiar and remembers ProbeScout. I mean, again, ProbeScout has been doing this for like 5 years. I didn't say 5 years. Oh, actually, yeah, encroaching 5 years. True. So ProbeScout has been doing this for years as well, and some things don't change. Some things don't change. Forge will fall. Lings are busting through. Cannon is on the way in the back line, but we're going for the pylon. The Artosis pylon. Pylon's going to be shut down. We have a backup pylon in the back line, and can the Lings get there? Boys are being pulled. So much economic damage. We're still flooding Lings across the map. Behind this, StarKiller is droning up. Is transitioning out of this. And even though the pylon will complete, even though the cannon's going to be repowered, it doesn't matter. Like, we can just threaten the mineral line. The cannon is out of range. The cannon doesn't actually support the mineral line. So StarKiller, all he has to do is just Kai back, break on through, picks off a probe here or there. He's being zoned towards the cannon, but yeah, this is going to be a tough fight here for ProbeScout. Does bleed out to 8, 9, 10 probes. 11 probes go down. We have 11 workers left. StarKiller with double the worker count across the map, more than double. And ProbeScout is still committed. You know, again, Bappy, we do one thing. We gotta double down. It is gonna be the robo across the map, but we just don't really have the economy to sustain robo production. We can't afford anything. We have the robo, sure, but it means nothing. At this point, it does mean nothing. As Lings, they do scout, they do confirm location of the proxy. With the cannon, the Lings can't really touch the proxy location, but we have time. We have time before ProbeScout can even afford anything out of this robo. So we can see StarKiller chilling, getting a little bit supply blocked. Will eventually break out. We have Link Speed on the way, Evo Chamber for +1 melee, assuming that's the direction we head. And I was going to say we could drone up, but now we're making links. 14 links on the way. With this Link Flood, we can shut down the cannon and shut down the Immortal. The Immortal can't really do much here. If the Immortal's able to wedge itself in between the robo and the cannon itself to reduce surface area, then maybe we can trade a little bit more efficiently and buy time for the Adept to get across the map. But, oh, not like this. The Immortal pushing onto Creep. Link Speed isn't quite done yet. We go for the dive. We go for the surround. We catch the Immortal on Creep. The Immortal gets shut down. GG gets called. And StarKiller will take game number 2 and the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to StarKiller. Again, essentially hard countering his opponent, going for the 12 pull, and even without scouting the pylon, he pulled the boys. Just because we, again, ProbeScout has a reputation, does have a notorious reputation, so we do respond, we do react, we do shut down the cannon rush ahead of time, and smooth sailings from then on forward. And again, what I'm most impressed by is that StarKiller, despite being inactive for a long time, despite retiring for years, he's still got it, you know, he's still got it. Still has retained a lot of that skill, and I'm gonna say he's retired, but it looks like he has been laddering a little bit again. Not too much, but yeah, not too much at all. But he has been laddering a little bit here and there, so it's great to see. Great to see the activity from StarKiller. Just double checking, and yeah, for the past like week or so, StarKiller, he's been laddering. Let's go. He's been laddering again. Is he back? Is this the return of StarKiller, or is it merely, you know, is he merely just returning? You know, we have seen a rise in returning players as of late. Players that maybe play games like Battle Aces or play some of the new RTSs that are on the horizon, and then they get that StarCraft itch, and then they come back. You know, we saw that yesterday with Jim Rising, and could be seeing it a little bit more as well. Regardless, I appreciate the return of StarKiller, and congratulations.